Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is December the 3rd, 2023. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Trying to stay warm. It's not too cold, actually. It's like around the 50s, but it's cold enough for me. Let's see, Saturday night, I really didn't do anything. We stayed in, we kept it comfy, we kept it cozy. Today, I got up and I did some grocery shopping. Made a couple of mistakes, but we'll work it out. I just forgot some things, and I always hate when I do that. So we'll have to improvise, but we'll make it happen. We will make it happen. There's really nothing else to really report about me. The personal news is pretty ho hum. It's just nothing bad or anything, but just I guess regular. It's a regular weekend. But yeah, let me go ahead and do my startup, and then we will get into some news. How about that? All right. From the BBC, Russia LGBT police raid Moscow gay clubs. BDSA. Police in Moscow have raided several gay clubs. Local media report after a day a day after Russia's Supreme Court moved to outlaw the LGBT movement. Club goers were briefly held and their passports were photographed during raids late on Friday. Telegram channel Ostonzonio Novosti said. One attendee told the channel he feared he would be given a lengthy jail term. The police said they were searching for drugs. City officials have not commented so far. Let's see here. The raids came a day after Russia's Supreme Court declared what it described as a LGBT public movement, an extremist organization, and banned its activities across the country. The ruling was prompted by a motion from the Justice Ministry, although no such organization exists as a legal entity. So this is obviously very fucking unfortunate. Another milestone, when it comes to Russia just trying to break down, suppress LGBTQ people, in Russia. Honestly, just civil rights in that regard have been very terrible. And obviously, this is not a sign of them getting any better. I think it's a really vague and nasty swipe to just say, oh, you guys are like a movement, and because you're a movement, we're just gonna fuck y'all up. And it's like that's something you can't do, and that's why they're trying to like make them like an organization. But literally, there's not an organization that they can point to because they've done so well at suppressing people that it's like there's none that can even be formed. So it's like, well, now we just want to like, try to kill the vibe now. We are literally trying to just make you guys not be gay in public, suppress that shit as much as we can. And I guess for like political points for the people that want that kind of shit. But inevitably, like, this is just a terrible thing to happen to people. Like, you should be allowed to express yourself. You should be allowed to be yourself. And at the end of the day, all you're really doing is creating an environment that people do not want to be in. They do not want to exist in. Like, you're going to have more than a brain drain, when not only you have a fucking whole war that you're fucking pushing, and then in your own borders, you're like, hey, we're really fucking cranking out these Russian values, right? So, like, let's make sure nobody's gay. Like, I don't know. And then who's going to be left? Who's going to be left around you? The most boring milquetoast ass motherfuckers. I don't know. So that's where we're starting, unfortunately. Sadly, the vibes are not getting any better, but also from the BBC, Paris attack near Eiffel Tower leaves one dead and two injured. A man has died and two others, including a British man, have been injured in a knife and hammer attack on a street in central Paris. The attack occurred near the Eiffel Tower shortly before 2100 local time on Saturday. A 26-year-old French national known to security services has been arrested, and anti-terrorism prosecutors have opened an investigation. The man killed was a German tourist who worked as a nurse. Let's see here. Then there was also the victim's wife who was saved by a taxi driver intervening. Then the suspect crosses the north side of the river and attacks two more people, hitting a 66-year-old British victim in the eye with the hammer. The suspect was then tasered by police and arrested on suspicion of assassination, defined in French law as premeditated murder, and attempted assassination in relation to a terrorist enterprise. Let's see. He has been named in French media as Armand R., a 26-year-old French national with Iranian parents. The two people injured, a Frenchman aged 60 and a British tourist, were treated by emergency services, with neither found to be in a life-threatening condition. So that is good. It is believed that Armand has said, hey, this is in response to what he believes France being complicit to what's going on in Afghanistan and Palestine, and him voicing his unrest about it. Obviously, that is a terrible fucking way to go about it. Doing any kind of act of violence in this kind of way is only going to bring negative attention, and it's only going to cause more negativity. It's only going to be terrible. I mean, you literally killed someone. That's fucked up. It just brings all the kind of wrong eyes and attention and conversation to the cause that people are trying to, really push, which is for people to be free, which is for people to live and be happy and comfortable. And I think robbing that agency from other people is terrible and doesn't promote your cause. So, it's a fucking shame that you have more of this kind of shit happening. But yeah, I mean, we got to cover it. We got to talk about that shit. You know what I mean? And I mean, yeah, terrorism is a theme in this episode. In the next beat from NBC News, foreign terrorists behind deadly bombing that hit Christian worshippers in the Philippines, officials say. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. condemned a deadly bombing on Sunday, blaming foreign terrorists as police and the military strengthened security in the country's south and around the capital, Manila. At least 4 people were killed and at least 50 injured after a bomb exploded during a morning Catholic mass in a university gymnasium in Marawi, a city in the south of the country besieged by Islamic militants for 5 months in 2017. So it looks like this was a bit of a retaliatory situation. The Philippines have kind of been cracking down on, this kind of terrorist activity. And then it looks like this group was saying, okay, well, we're going to, respond in kind, and essentially, did this bomb. So, I mean, that's obviously very fucked up. Let's see here. What else did I want to pull? The blast in Marawi, capital of Lanao del Sur province, followed a series of military operations located against local pro-Islamic state groups in the southern Philippines, including one on Sunday in Lanao del Sur that led to the killing of the leader of Dawla Islamia Matut group. So, yeah, so essentially they are responding to that situation that happened. Let's see here. The Islamic State group Mount seized Maui on May of 2017, seeking to make it a Southeast Asian waliat or government or governorate for Islamic State. In the ensuing 5-month battle, Islamist fighters and Philippine forces killed more than 1,000 people, including civilians. So I guess that's catching us up on what happened there. But Obviously, yet again, another unfortunate situation. These groups can kind of operate and form these little cells, and they try to make these pushes. You always hope that they're unsuccessful in that regard, but no matter what happens, it's always a loss of life, and then you have to have military come in and break the shit up, which can make things even worse. So it always just kind of feels like bad on bad, but yeah, that is the international news for this episode. We have one more thing to cover before I let you go. You know what that means? I'm gonna take my break. Let me not skimp on getting hydrated. All right, that's good. All right. Our last story of the day is at least we're ending on a good beat. I want to say, from the Los Angeles Times, suspect arrested in killings of 3 LA homeless people. Less than 24 hours after news broke that a serial predator might be targeting some of Los Angeles' most vulnerable residents, police on Saturday announced the arrest of a suspect linked to the homicides of 3 homeless men across the city in the past week. Jared Joseph Powell, 33, is accused of walking up to men in 3 different Los Angeles neighborhoods over a 4-day span, killing each for no apparent reason. Police Chief Michelle Moore, it might be Michael Moore, I'm not sure. I'm going to say Michelle Moore, said on Saturday. Moore described the killings as senseless and said footage of at least one homicide shows Powell acting borderline indifferent as he takes a man's life. Powell was arrested Wednesday night by Beverly Hills police after his car was linked to the Sunday killing of 42-year-old Nicholas Cimbalon in San Dimas. Powell allegedly robbed Cimbalon at his home and shot him in what authorities have termed a follow-home robbery. Cimbalon, who worked for the L.A. County Chief's Executive's Office, is survived by his wife, his mother, and 2 sons, officials say. Now, in the situations with the homeless people, it's alleged that they think that he didn't rob them. So I don't know if this is an escalation from that, and that's, how they kind of wind up linking him. Also, I'm kind of thinking that maybe he's not, like, this kind of breaks the tie, like the tether between the 2 sets of homeless killings we covered yesterday, between Las Vegas and Los Angeles. So it's looking like, they're unrelated. But I don't know. Obviously I'm keeping you posted on all this shit as it comes. But, I know he's going to be, arraigned and, going through that whole process in the upcoming. So I'll keep you posted on any big updates there. But it's at least a closing of the chapter. It's at least like, hey, that's one less killer out there. But I mean, obviously, for the unhoused, the people who are on the streets, I mean, hell, everybody, you got to keep your head on a swivel out there. It's definitely scary, unfortunately. But I believe in us. I believe that hopefully, we can take our steps and we can take our day to day and, really just do our best to be happy and not live in fear. I don't think that's the way to be, no matter what day and age it is. But yeah, that's really all I got for this episode. I know I'm kind of zigging and zagging. Maybe not even talking about much, but whatever. If you made it this far, that's super cool. You're super dope. I like it so much. Hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.